is for the win. This 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 is for the win. 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 This is for the win.
Welcome to the CPENN for the Win Show. This is your host, Charles Penn. We are back with episode number 10. As you can see, I got on my World Series gear for 2014. It was a great run for Kansas City Royals that year. I think they won 22 of their last 26 games getting the AL wild card, and then we know what happened from there. Swept everybody, but came up just a bit short, but everybody knows what happened that next year as well. The reason I got it on is that everybody can see that the World Series just concluded. The LA Dodgers, they was able to win the World Series in 6 games. Shout out to Clayton Kershaw for winning his first ever World Series ring. I guess we can get rid of the narrative of him not being clutch in the postseason at all, as he showed out in both of his starts here with the Dodgers in the World Series. They was both quality starts, actually. I know the last one, he only gave up 2 runs and had 6 strikeouts in the Game 5 as the Dodgers went up 3-2 in that series, but they went ahead and closed it out, man. And Mookie Betts, there's a reason why the Dodgers traded for him. Mookie Betts, he had a great series, had a nice performance. I know the Dodgers, they was down 1-0 in Game 6, but then him and Corey Seager, they got things going when Kevin Cash uncharacteristically pulled Blake Snell from the game during the 6th inning, which I found was crazy. I'm gonna address that here in a sec. But as soon as the Tampa Bay bullpen got in the game, Mookie and Corey Seager led the charge. Mookie got on base, and then Corey Seager knocked them in home, and then the Dodgers tacked on another run. And after that, they never gave up the lead. And in Mookie's last at bat late in the game, he put an exclamation point up and knocked a home run, a solo shot in the 8th inning. So the Dodgers, they went on ahead and closed it out 3-1. And Mookie, I said in the previous episode or two, I said that Mookie Betts is going to turn around offensively in the World Series because he was mostly doing it through his glove throughout the postseason. But in the World Series, he came through in the clutch offensively. And, of course, he was doing his thing defensively. So Mookie Betts, that's 2 rings with 2 different organizations. I know this may be a little bit of a hot take, but I don't think it is, honestly. I'm fine with people still say that Mike Trout's the best player in baseball. You can't help your situation sometimes. Like, you can only do so much as an individual on a baseball team. Mike Trout is great. He's still on pace to maybe smash every record that Barry Bonds holds and all his numbers in general. But right now, I'm going to say that Mookie Betts is currently the best player in baseball right now. But, Mike Trout, he can take the crown back next year. Everything. It's just that the Angels, they just got to get their stuff together, man. I mean, you guys seeing that the Dodgers, they went on ahead and finally broke through. So it's time for Mike Trout to break through soon, or he'll be past his prime, and you don't want to waste that if you're the Angels. And also I want to give another shout out to Corey Seager. He was the World Series MVP. He was outstanding throughout the entire postseason. He hit for a high batting average. I know he hit 400 in the World Series. He came up with many clutch hits with guys on base. And he did a pretty nice job of shortstop too, fielding the ball and everything. So Corey Seager, he was a monster. It's a great story to hear from him because I think 2 years ago, I want to say it was 2 or 3 years ago, he was coming off an injury, had to sit out basically an entire year after getting hurt in like week 1 of the season. But for him to bounce back in a big way and perform the way he did throughout the entire postseason, it's a great testament to his work ethic and his willingness to get back to the level where he was going to ascend to. So there's another shout out to Corey Seager. But I want to get to the Rays real quick before I conclude with the Dodgers. Kevin Cash, I understand Kevin Cash. He's a guy that analytically doesn't want to pitch his starters no more than 5 or 6 innings. But in this situation where it's win or go home, you had to leave Blake Snell in the game, man. Like, Blake Snell was cruising. He only gave up 2 hits and he had 9 strikeouts at the time. I know it's tougher the postseason for for pitchers to, let's say, pitchers to go through the order a third time. But in that situation, Blake Snell was cruising and he was on a roll. He looked like he couldn't be stopped. And Kevin Cash, I believe, made a mistake in trying to stick with the analytics. Like sometimes you gotta just ignore the analytics, especially in that situation. Be like, look, okay, I'm gonna do this time. I'm gonna do this different, man. Like this guy's too good right now. And the thing is, Blake Snell had only threw 73 pitches at the time. So it was just mind-boggling to me. Like, as soon as Blake Snell, I believe that he should have let Blake Snell in the game for the top of the order with Mookie Betts and Corey Seager and Justin Turner. If Blake Snell had got through those three guys again for a third time, then take him out. But I believe that mistake essentially cost the Rays the World's another shot at a shot at the Game 7 and a shot that win the World Series. But I want to say that the Rays offense, they disappointed in the World Series. Like Randy Arozarena, he was basically the only guy that showed up. I want to give a testament to him. And I don't know if he's going to be able to, I don't know if he can translate it for 162 full game season for next season. Hopefully get a full season by then. But I know one thing, Arozarena, he was slipped under the radar. He wasn't really brought up to the Rays system until like September. And since then, the guy's just been on fire. I know throughout the entire postseason, he hit 10 home runs. He surpassed Barry Bonds for the most in MLB postseason history. But there's a little context to that too, because during Barry's great postseason run, he got walked quite a bit too. So he was already respected at the plate. He was already on a Hall of Fame pace for his career. So that's why Barry was drawing way more walks. Arozarena, anything's possible. Could he get that respect? Maybe, but he just got to be able to translate it to a full game season. But I believe Arozarena is going to be a stud in the major leagues. And I think he'll carry that momentum into next season and moving forward. Now, to conclude, the Dodgers winning the World Series and my thoughts on it. Justin Turner, he was pretty wild for his decision to go out there and celebrate with his teammates after testing positive for COVID in the middle of the game, which is very odd. Like I'm trying to figure out how he can test positive during the game. Like you gotta wonder if that was like a false positive or something. I'm not sure, because normally these guys get tested before the games and after the games. So because it was just weird how he did get pulled from the game late, and then all of a sudden we had the breaking news after the game. And then come to find out, Justin was like, man, I want to go out there and celebrate with my teammates. Like, sure, I'm not going away. I'm not going back to the hotel or home or anything. So, I kind of get why he want to have that once in a lifetime moment with his teammates, but at the same time, man, you kind of risking it, bro, because luckily we haven't heard any more positive tests from the Dodgers, anybody in the Dodgers organization or anything, but I don't know. It's kind of it might have been a selfish moment, bro, but I get it. At the same time, I kind of get it. So I don't know. But congratulations to the LA Dodgers on winning the World Series, and we'll see if they can repeat for 2021 or somebody else will be in the fold. As you guys may have seen already, the Toronto Raptors, they are currently looking for a new home for the 2020-21 NBA season. Currently, they may not be able to play in Toronto at all because of the current pandemic. Teams can't really cross the border or anything right now, just for safety precautions. So right now, they was currently slated to play in Louisville, but they haven't really officially gone ahead and make that happen. But right now, there's another city in the U.S. that's trying to make that pitch and trying to put themselves in the fold. Kansas City right now, they currently have the T-Mobile Center, formerly known as the Sprint Center. They currently have the T-Mobile Center, and Mayor Quentin Lucas has stepped up to the plate. He's been making a strong campaign all week long to try to bring the Raptors to Kansas City for this upcoming NBA season. And he already wrote a letter to Commissioner Adam Silver and making this pitch on everything. I'm going to go ahead and read a bit of it here. Dear Commissioner Silver, in the event the Toronto Raptors seek a temporary home for the 2020-21 NBA season, please note our strong support for Kansas City to serve in the team's host city. Kansas City is a great sports city. Not only does Kansas City boast the 2019 World Champion Kansas City Chiefs, the 2017 U.S. Open Cup champion Sporting Kansas City, and 2015 World Series champion Kansas City Royals, but Kansas City is also preparing to host the 2023 NFL Draft and enjoys regularly hosting the best collegiate athletes from across the country for tournaments and championship games in a variety of sports. Kansas City sports fans are unmatched, already proven an avid fan base for the Chiefs, the Royals, and Sporting, and we'll be eager to extend the support to the Raptors. Our T-Mobile Center, our first-class arena, located in the heart of downtown, will make a great home for the Raptors as they look to match last season's impressive winning record. In addition, Kansas City has plenty to offer with wonderful food, attractions, and entertainment for basketball fans of all ages. Kansas City has the fifth fastest growing downtown population in the nation, according to the Brookings Institute, and offers convenient air and ground travel across the continental United States and beyond. The Kansas City metropolitan area is primarily served by the Kansas City International Airport, which is currently undergoing a $1.5 billion state-of-the-art terminal renovation to meet the needs of a growing economy and booming tourism industry. The fare-free Kansas City streetcar runs through Kansas City's downtown, and that stops just a minute's walk from the T-Mobile Center and many of the city's premier dining and entertainment venues. Kansas City also proudly provides fare-free public bus transportation across the city with several stops near the T-Mobile Center. Again, Kansas City is well suited to host the Toronto Raptors for the 2021 NBA season, and our dynamic fans will be thrilled to adopt the team as our own. On behalf of our bi-state region, we thank you for your consideration of Kansas City as you move forward in the selection process, and stand ready to answer any questions you may have. Best regards. All right. And that's the letter Quentin Lucas sent out the pitch to Adam Silver. Looks like a pretty good pitch. I think the Raptors should go ahead and play here. Like Kansas City, they have not had an NBA team since 1985, and that was before my time. I wasn't even born. I wasn't even thought of, so I never got to experience NBA here in Kansas City, except for when Miami Heat went on ahead and adopted us for their preseason games. I do remember going to the Heat Thunder game mainly when LeBron and Kevin Durant, all them stars, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. It was a star-studded preseason game. And it was great to see that one. It was a good experience for that. And come to find out, I think that next season, I don't know if it was the same season or the next season, they ended up playing the NBA Finals. But the T-Mobile Center, here's why the Raptors should consider playing Kansas City. The T-Mobile Center, they currently hold more seats than what Oklahoma City provides at the Chesapeake Energy Arena. And the only reason I know that is that I actually went to a OKC Thunder game like 2 years ago, I believe, when they played the Blazers. And at the time, the Thunder had Paul George and Melo along with Russ. And then the Portland backcourt with CJ and Dame. And, that was a good game. That came out to the wire. But anyway, Kansas City, their arena has always been built to hold an NBA team and host an NBA team in general. So, and then plus you got the college basketball experience right next door. You could turn it into an NBA experience if you want. So that's even more money right there. So the Kansas City could definitely use the NBA team to help boost the economy a little bit. And our fans, the fans here in Kansas City already show out for Kansas Jayhawk basketball games in general. So, it's a win-win in my opinion. So hopefully Kansas City can come through and get that bid. And if they do, I'm definitely going to be out for a few games. I got to see Kevin Durant and Steph Curry live, guys like that, Kawhi, etc. So, and I know you guys are wondering, how can we mention LeBron? Like, look, look.
Oh, Lord.
The only way I'm gonna go see it is if the tickets are free, dog. That's the only way I'm going. I'm going for the free 99.
Oh my God. You're selling that. You're selling it.
Nah, but yeah, like I said, I would definitely be excited about that because I didn't get to have that experience like my dad had. Because my dad, he used to drive valet for the Kansas City Kings not too long ago. He had stories about Nate Archibald, Tiny Archibald. He used to be a former franchise player here. So God bless his soul. Rest in peace, my dad. But like I said, man, Raptors and KC, let's make it happen. All right, before we go to the pigskin, there's actually some breaking news on a possible trade rumor in the NBA between the Detroit Pistons and Portland Trail Blazers. As you guys can see that Detroit, they still hold Blake Griffin's monster contract, and they trying to find a suitor to get rid of Blake Griffin and start over from scratch. They already got the books on Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson, but they also trying to look to trade Blake Griffin to start from scratch and try to rebuild the team, and so Detroit can get back in the prominence. Right now, the proposed trade rumor is Blake Griffin going to Portland for CJ McCollum, and in this package here, in the proposed scenario, Detroit would be sending the package that includes Griffin and the number 7 overall pick to Portland for CJ McCollum and the 16th overall pick in the NBA draft. And in this trade scenario, I mean, it'll open up a little bit of salary, but it may not be too much because CJ's contract is currently big as well. But what I will say is, if you're Portland, why would you even consider doing this trade? Because Blake Griffin, he's not the same athletic guy. He's been hampered by injuries. He doesn't jump out of the gym like he used to. Like, he's still athletic, but it's not like the younger Blake Griffin. You know, everybody knows about the younger Blake Griffin and how he was jumping out the gym, but Blake's had numerous knee injuries and ankle injuries, and I don't think Portland should even consider a somewhat broke down Blake Griffin at this point in his career. I think Blake's a little bit past his prime. Is he still a good player? Yes, but that's not something that Portland needs right now, in my opinion. But if you're Detroit, man, you win this trade easily. Because CJ McCollum, he's a guy that needs the ball in his hands. He's basically another point guard, really. I mean, I know he's listed as a 2 guard in Portland, but we seem like when Dame Lillard comes out the game, CJ McCollum was able to run a team that's just as good as Dame when he's the main point guard. So with this move, you know, CJ, you basically get a new franchise player, and CJ, you know, he'll get his opportunity to lead a franchise. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if this trade falls through. But if I'm Portland, I would not make this move. Like, you trying to find a suitor for CJ McCollum, I would try to go after somebody else for even better value. And that's just my opinion on that. So that's going to conclude me breaking down the latest trade rumor here in the NBA. Early in the week, I already tweeted out my power rankings here. I'm gonna run it down real quick. Chicago, they had to get the boot because the Rams took care of business on Monday night. So the new team that moved into the power rankings is Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they shot up pretty high. So at number 5, I'll drop Seattle down to number 5 after taking a close loss to the Cardinals. Number 4, I got At number 4, I got the Tennessee Titans. They went on ahead and got their first loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had to knock them down a little bit, but they still playing well. Number 3, I got the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. They moved up 1 spot. They didn't have to do much to beat Denver, but they beat them down pretty bad. Number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's your new team. TB12 and AB. AB acquiring Antonio Brown to help boost them up a little bit, boost their Super Bowl chances. I'm going to touch on them in a sec. Number 1, Pittsburgh Steelers. They the only undefeated team left. They playing some pretty good ball right now. Ben, he kind of had a rough second half a little bit, but, the Steelers did enough defensively. They was able to hold on to beat the Tennessee Titans after they put on a late charge. So that's my top 5 power rankings for the week. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Talk about TB12. See, like the TB12 method is still alive and well. They currently 5 and 2 right now. And they first in the NFC South. Tom Brady putting up great numbers. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, he's been injured off and on, but it's perfect timing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go ahead and sign Antonio Brown while Chris Godwin recovers from a broken finger. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they still continue to roll. Then you got the 1-2 punch of Ronald Jones, and then Leonard Fournette just came back. Leonard Fournette had a decent game. So it's looking like Bruce Arians might have Leonard Fournette as RB1. Or it could just depend on the matchup and situation, but Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, they're going to both have good, decent roles in that offense. Gronk is back, man. People weren't sure if Gronk was going to be all the way back after being a year away from football, but you got to remember that all these teams, they didn't have a normal off season due to the pandemic and everything, and training camp was a little different too. So, but Gronk, Gronk got his feet wet. He's finally getting his legs under him, and he's back to the same guy that we've been knowing his entire football career. And then, but defensively, we don't speak enough about the defense. Last year, they run defense was stout. I think they run defense was either the best in the league or it was top 2 last year. I can't remember, but it was up there. But not just that, the secondary's been quite underrated too. They've been playing some great ball. You got Carlton Davis II. He's one of the best defensive backs in the league currently. And then Antoine Winfield Jr. He's playing like he's been in the league already. And everyone knows that his dad used to play for the Minnesota Vikings, and he was a pretty good corner. So Antoine Winfield out here doing this thing in safety. And then, but the two main guys I want to talk about that's leading the defensive charge is Devin White and Levante David. Now, these two guys, they kind of remind me of a linebacking core that used to be in San Fran. I don't know if you guys remember Patrick Wilson, Navarro Bowman, and how good those guys were. So, and to me, those two guys, they playing like the new Patrick Wilson, Navarro Bowman. They've been stout against the run. They've been flying all over the field, whether they have to cover tight ends or playing their little zones or whatever. But those guys, they've been balling, man, and they've been a huge reason why their defense has been stout overall. And with a Tom Brady-led team, when you have a great offense and a great defense, man, Tom Brady has proved that he can still get it done. Tom Brady, like, I want to say that I was completely wrong about the Buccaneers. Like, I was talking a little trash on them a little bit because I was thinking, like, man, Tom Brady's got a noodle arm, man. This is just to sell merchandise and everything. Like, it ain't going to be nothing special for real. Because I was thinking Tom Brady was done. But it's clear as day that, you know, Tom Brady, last year, like when he was in the Patriots, like it's clear, like he didn't have the weapons. And it's starting to show this year in New England with Cam Newton. Like the receivers are just not good and they're not getting open. And you see Cam was starting to struggle all of a sudden. And we're seeing here with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, when you do have a good nucleus all around, you know, you can still do some things at 42 years old, going off 43. So but to conclude everything that I'm going to say about the Buccaneers is this: like Antonio Brown, I know there's been people who questioning the move. Like some people think the move is great. Some people think it's like, man, Antonio Brown, he's going to be a distraction in the locker room. You sure you want to bring him in? But you got to remember, like Tom Brady and Antonio Brown, they played a little bit in New England last year, and they kind of looked like they was getting on the same page right out the gate. So this was definitely a Tom Brady move, bringing in Antonio Brown, and I think it's gonna work out just fine. Tampa Bay, they just gonna continue to roll, and what Antonio Brown the role that Antonio Brown's gonna play is that he probably be the Julian Edelman in the Tampa Bay offense. Like he'll play in the slot for the most part, and that's where AB can be dangerous because AB last time we seen him on the field, you know, he was still had that quickness and burst off the line, and he still has great hands. So, you know, him and Tom Brady's going to pick up where they left off in New England last year for that one game in Miami. So, Tampa Bay, they definitely a Super Bowl contender, and the way I see it, I think they are the favorite to come out the NFC. So, I just want to give a shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on what they're building, and we're just going to see what happens, man. Like it's going to be a crazy soap opera with that team. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady, he's been in the league long enough. He's the veteran. He know how to get the guys on the same page still. So we're going to see what happens with them for the rest of the season. All right, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the show real quick. I'm just going to touch on the game of the week here for week 8. Still as a Ravens my game of the week. And my prediction is that the Steelers go ahead and just smack the heck out of the Ravens. When I seen the spread in this game, like I did not understand how the Ravens were a 4-point favorite at home. Like I get that they're home, but the Steelers, they're just a better team on paper. And Lamar Jackson, he's kind of regressed as a passer, and the Ravens wide receivers, they haven't been playing good either. Like guys haven't mainly been getting open, and the guys been dropping passes here and there too. But Lamar's got to prove that he can pass and show out against the top teams in the AFC or in the NFL in general. And we just seen like the last time he went up against a top team in the Kansas City Chiefs, he was held to under 100 yards passing. That's not good. That's not good at all. So Lamar, he's got to show me, man. But until then, the Steelers, they still got a complete all-around team, and I don't think the game is close at all. I think they may win, but I think the Steelers win by double digits, in my opinion. Like, usually divisional games are close, but I think the Steelers can go ahead and win this game by double digits. Ben Roethlisberger, he'll get back on track. I think the Steelers wide receivers, they can sort of do damage like how the Chiefs did on Monday night. They got 4 good wide receivers out in that field, so I think Baltimore, they can't get the Ben Roethlisberger, they'll have their hands full. And then, the Steelers, they still got to get a running game with James Conner. He's been playing good ball. And the Steelers defensively, they just gonna be too much, man. I think Micah Fitzpatrick's gonna have a great game. Bud Dupree can get in there and maybe get a sack. And, TJ Watt, he's one of the best pass rushers in the league. I think he's at the top of the league in like pass rush win rate right now, as far as beating his man off the line. So yeah, the Steelers is gonna be tough. They just too tough right now. They're currently the best team in the AFC. And the Ravens, they still got a ways to go. I mean, they still will be a playoff team, but I just can't see them doing much damage if they get in the playoffs again, as we see. All right, that's going to conclude the NFL, and that's going to conclude the show. This is your host, Charles Penn. This is episode number 10 in the books. And until next week, as a matter of fact, before I go ahead and say my closing line here, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and comment, and share this to all your platforms. And until next week's episode, I'm out.